I'm from New Jersey. I don't expect too much. If the world ended today, I would adjust.
I started doing this very early on in the crisis in 2008. The problem has gotten worse. The economy certainly hasn't gotten better in New Jersey. So we're seeing probably more people today that are behind on their mortgages than I did in 2008. Because of the whole robo-signing mess, there was foreclosures were put on hold, and there's still tens of thousands of foreclosure cases in New Jersey that are on hold. Many people who want to save their homes, but they haven't made a mortgage payment now in 3 or 4 years. For whatever reason, they haven't saved any money. They might be at the point now where they're never going to get a modification. There are a whole variety of reasons. I've had a lot of clients where their arrears are more than the principal amount, and under all the guidelines that I'm aware of, if the arrears exceed the principal amount, most of the servicers will not even consider the person for a modification. And a lot of people are in that situation now. There are more scams out there. And quite frankly, a lot of people are coming to us, and we see it all the time, that believe they're going to get a house for free because they've read about it on the internet, or that they can keep their house that they truly, really can't afford. And we spend more time trying to explain to people that they may not be able to save their house, and not saving their house may not be the worst thing in their lives, and that there is life after a tragedy and financial tragedy. And everybody comes in saying, but my neighbor got this great loan modification, or my Uncle Ed did this, and why can't it be me? Well, you may not be in that situation.
I'm from New Jersey. I don't expect too much.
When people came in maybe 4 years ago, they may have been more at the beginning of not having paid their mortgage. Now, maybe their medical situation has increased, or they're out of work for many more years, where now their other bills haven't been paid. They could be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 behind in debt. And they really want to save their house, because the house to them is what represents their, gives them their esteem, and they feel like if they can't save their house, what about their children? It's really not for us to tell people whether they can save their house, but the reality of the numbers, they may not be able to save their house. So we really work with them to see maybe other legal options. Maybe bankruptcy is the answer, because if they can get rid of their other debt, they can move into a nice apartment, reestablish their credit. It could be so easy sometimes when you're doing this for so long to broad brush. Well, people have their houses, people haven't paid, debt is debt, and it's not. Everybody says, people have houses in their family for years. We have people who have literally taken their hands and built their houses. But I think it's important to put everything on the table and look at what all the possibilities are, and pick the best one. I think just because someone has or had a low credit score doesn't mean that they were irresponsible. Someone could have traditionally low income and be responsible. The people who might feel shame shouldn't. People base their self-esteem on this number called a credit score. And what's that about? I say to people, you have your house, you have your apartment, you have your kids. Well, you may not take your house with you, but you take your love with you, and you're in the apartment, and your kids are there, but your love is there.
There may be people in New Jersey doing them. I don't do them. I've never done one. I don't think it's appropriate. Nobody is getting a house for free, and that's the bottom line. Nobody is getting a house for free. Several people have said to me, oh, I've heard of such and such and such and such, and they got a quiet title. I've said, please, even if you don't give me the case, give me the name of the lawyer who's been successful. I would love to call that lawyer, because if they're doing it, I'll be happy to send them work.
Absolutely.
But I just don't understand the legal theory that they're using to quiet title. And not once has anybody ever come back to me and said, oh, here, call so-and-so. It just never happened. Now, maybe the people are out there. I'd love to hear from them. Sometimes there are lawyers out there that are getting involved, and because they're involved in foreclosure defense, next thing you know, not only are they foreclosure defense experts, they're bankruptcy experts. And then we'll get people coming to us a little too late when they're losing their homes because there may be some equity in the home. I don't think there's a lot of real estate closings happening, so a lot of real estate lawyers are now becoming foreclosure defense experts. And I'm sure there's some very good lawyers out there that are doing this kind of work, but a lot of people don't know there's a difference between the government-sponsored entities and the non-government-sponsored entities when it comes to securitized loans. People that are out there doing it, taking money from people, not knowing the difference between a private securitized loan and a government-backed securitized loan, and the fact that there are different programs out there. People that don't know that since June of last year, there's something called Camp 2 out there, but they're taking money from people. I've had 3 or 4 people who have come to me because they paid, I don't know how much money, to get a modification, but their loan was made, or the loan was made after January of 2009, and you don't qualify for HAMP, and they were promised.
This nice man on a minimum income, $2,500 he paid somebody. He called me. I knew he couldn't afford it. I spent an hour and a half. I said, you're not giving me any money. He said, but all these other lawyers wanted to take money. I said, I am telling you there's nothing I could do for you. I'm not taking your money.
We're looking at somebody for a bankruptcy or a foreclosure situation. That's the effect. There's always a cause. The bankruptcy, the being unable to pay your bills, being unable to pay the mortgage is the effect. The cause is either unemployment, divorce, medical issues, things that are always beyond the person's control. And unfortunately, a lot of people come in and they feel as if they've created the problem. They should be, they're ashamed of themselves. They feel as if they're failures. Our clients did not cause this financial collapse in this country. And my clients that were 2-income families that are now both struggling because they're living on unemployment, fully expected to be employed for the rest of their lives and retire and have the government care for them the way I was hoping the government would care for me. These things had nothing to do with the person in foreclosure, or the person facing financial difficulty. And people lose sight of that fact. Our clients lose sight of the fact. We spend a lot of time trying to explain to people, this isn't your fault. There's no shame in this. The shame would be doing nothing. And that gets to the heart of the practice. We try to help people get out of the situation. By doing nothing, people should be, if they are aware that there's something they can do, and that may not be save their home, but if they're aware there's something they can do and should do, and they don't do it for, they don't do it, maybe there should be shame in that. But being in the situation, absolutely not.
This song is for the people who are living on the street, who wonder where they'll sleep tonight and what they're gonna eat. With all our jobs shipped overseas where the cost of life is cheap, no one can afford things except for the elite. Executives get bonuses from companies that fail.